Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we're going to make some West Coast R&B. DJ Idea sent me over his plugin called Player from his website. So I like the bass called Bass 10. So let's start there. Let's find the tempo. Let's right click, tap it out. So somewhere around 92, 93. Let's start at 93 to be safe. I really like starting with bass with West Coast stuff because it's built around the bass for the most part. Let's record this in. Now at the end I go doon doon doo doo. So that's a little swing, so I don't want to quantize that last note. Highlight the other notes. Let's hit Alt Q. Sometimes overly quantizing can kill the vibe though, so be careful with quantizing all the notes. Let's go to song mode. Let's arrange this. So now we have the vibe, a very Mogish style bass. We can go through different bass patches. Let's click this to pick the instrument. Let's go to bass and let's just try out different ones. That one's super crazy. So these are all like super West Coast. Yeah, I want that bass right there. I like the first bass, but I like that one too. This one might be too perfect, so I might have to pull the other one back just so it fits in the arrangement. Okay, now that we have the bass, I want to change up something about it. Let's go to click here. Let's go to make unique. So now we have two patterns, so it's not just repeating the same thing over again. And let's change something up. Let's go to the pattern. Now I want to go dun dun. Now what I like to do when I'm doing I call it like a walking bass, I'll go up a half step or down a half step. So even though this is out of key, it's going to sound cool. So try using those half steps. Let's go to song mode. Now we need to figure out which chords to add over top. So we have the notes E, D, and C as our root notes. So the trick is, do you start your chord on E, D, or C? So let's figure this out. We're going to open up Sky Keys to create a chord over top of this. Let me move this. You guys will get the project files, but I'll leave the link for this Player VST in the description. So here we have C. Now, what I like to do, a shortcut, is I listen for the top note of a chord. So to my ear, I'm actually listening to E as the top note of a chord. I can also hear A. Let's turn this down a little bit. So now we have all these options. The question is, do we use C, D, or E because the bass is moving so much? Now, I'm going to assume we're doing, this is a little more complex, but a 2-5-1 using a tritone substitution to create this type of sound. Normally that would be a half step though. A half step kind of walk down. So I'm going to assume the root note is C, where we land. So let's go back to our chord. The trickiest part is just figuring out where the root note is. Starting from your bass, because bass is tricky because it can be an extension, it could be the root note. The bass doesn't have a defined sound. So let's do C, E, G. Let's make this a major 7th chord. Okay, so now that we have these chords, the question is, what can we change to add to the vibe? It sounds a little happy. So what we'll do is we'll convert this to a minor, which is too dark for this. So it's definitely major. Let's use a chord extension. So it definitely feels like a 9th chord of some sort, but let's keep going with these chord extensions here. Now we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is a major 7th. 12, 13, 14, major 9th chord. 15, 16, 17. Okay, so this should be 17. That creates the diminished, and now we're using a sharp 11 here. Major sharp 11. Now, my ear doesn't like that root note, so instead we're going to use E, which changes the chord type. So now we're getting all the notes that we want to hear in the chord. So let's say we want to create a turnaround chord. change. Okay, so let's find the root note. So this is the root note E or A. In my opinion, the root note is A, because here, this is not a normal distance for a minor or major chord. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which lets me know I probably took this note from somewhere else, which is that fifth. Okay, the fifth pulled down is actually a fourth. I know I'm going to go in fast through music theory, but you guys can go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory essentials to get all this foundational teaching. In short, we're starting at A. So the 0, 1, 2, 3, it's a minor third, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a minor triad, 8, 9, 10. This is a minor seventh chord, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is a minor ninth chord. So it's A minor ninth, and then we're playing the fifth of E in the bass to make a fuller sound. We can also invert notes to make it spread. Now, when I have a ninth chord, I usually don't raise the third or the tonic because it's too close to the note. So we can raise that fifth to open up the voicing a little bit, make it less dark. Now we did all that. Before I start revoicing stuff, to find the fifth. So the fifth is E. What we're gonna do here is add a dominant chord starting at E, because we're gonna go back down to the tonic of A. So we're going to the dominant chord, and then we're gonna raise the fifth and ninth. See what this sounds like. This is my style of altered chord. So now we have like this change. Now the question is, how do we make this change less far away? So we could pull it down an octave. Okay, that works. Or we could just simply pull it down 6 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's called tritone substitution. Changes the vibe though. Makes it more jazz-like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's keep it there. Another way to do this is to simply measure, to pick a note that you don't want to go above. So let's say we don't want to go above B. We're going to pull all the notes above B down. In this case, let's just pull the notes above C down. Now we have a clustered chord. And that's usually how West Coast stuff is played, is more clustered like that. Okay, so now that you guys have a lot of theory in a short amount of time, I kind of sped through that, but I go through this in my longer courses that are 5 hours, 30 videos worth of information. So I can't really give that to you in 5 seconds on YouTube. All right, so now that we have the tonic, what we're gonna do now is figure out different ways to, so that was at E. So this is our root note for the dominant chord. Now let's say we wanna move into the relative scale. So I know I'm getting kind of deep into music theory, but a lot of our favorite West Coast stuff and R&B stuff is built in deep music theory, jazz theory. So now that we have this, we want to go to the relative major. So instead of landing on A minor, let's go to the relative major. In short, whenever you're in a minor scale, count up 3 notes from the root note, 1, 2, 3. That will give you your relative major. Whenever you're in a major scale, count down 3 notes from your root note to get to the relative minor root note, 1, 2, 3. So that's how you cycle between the major and minor. So long story short, we're going to land on C. Let's pull this down an octave and let's make the C chord bigger. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a major third, 5, 6, 7. That's a major triad. 8, 9, 10, 11. That's a major seventh chord. And then we have 12, 13, 14, which is the major ninth. Okay. So now what I need to do is figure out which chord can lead into C major ninth. And we need to remember that this is the root note of the dominant chord. So this note needs to match the fifth of C. So E is, we're going to transpose that down to G. It's a little dark, so let's pull it up an octave. Now this voicing doesn't sound right for what we're doing here, so let's do it normally. Let's see how we can revoice this. We have the dominant ninth chord starting at G. We're going to raise that fifth and ninth. Now I like to use the second. So in this case, we're going to use D minor to lead up to. So this is the 2, 5, 1. So now we're taking the 2 of the scale that we're moving into, the fifth of the scale that we're moving into, and then that tonic of that scale. So we're all these chords are from the C major scale, the relative major scale of the A minor scale that we're in right now. Okay, so for this vibe, I might change the bass just so it matches. Instead of landing on C, let's just have it loop back. So we're using dominant chords and secondary dominant chords here. Let's see what other kind of sounds we can get. Pretty dope plugin here. Now let's clone the player VST. We're going to copy the chords and I'll show you guys how to turn this into a top line. Let's paste that into player. We're going to hit Control L and now we're just going to pick different instruments. So let's try a top line would be like a guitar lead, organ, piano, strings, synth. Let's try synth. So this is meant to be monolithic or monophonic. I like the sound. We're going to take all the top notes of these chords. Pull it down just to see. Usually with my top line, I make sure it's the top frequency. So here, if I pull this down, it kind of blends in with the chords. Let's try out different patches here. This is a dope one right here. This is a crazy sound. Let's try out the other bass that we had. I think it was bass 10. Even this sounds fire. All these basses sound crazy. This one's like resonating with me though. This bass stands out the most. So now let's find some drums. I'm probably not going to find the perfect drums for this vibe because I need like more of a rolling sound. Let's use EA Ski's drums. Let's use his SP1200 drums here. Let's use the Oakland. Oh, my computer is acting crazy. I gotta up the buffer length. Give me a sec. There we go. EA Ski snares are the tightest snares I've ever heard. So snappy. Let's add this on the 2 and the 4. We're gonna layer this with a clap. Make sure there's no. Let's delay this clap just a little bit. Let's use these heavier kicks. So boom, 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 like that. Swap this kick. I like these long kicks because it reminds me of the Timbaland era where like the kick wasn't just like poof, really quick. It was like a longer bodied 8/0 kick. This could double as a bass. Now we need a hi-hat. Let's right click, open this hi-hat. These sounds are so pristine. What we're gonna do is right click, fill each 2 steps and delay the wrench tool with the time shift. Delay this hi-hat behind the groove. We could also delay the snare a little bit. Let's delay the bass too. So now I'm focused on the timing of stuff. Let's go to the wrench tool, time shift. So on the second half, let's hit Control G. Actually, let's make these unique. It might be easier to clone and make changes. And then what I'll do is hit Control B. So now I want the bass to just, because we have the chords laid out, now I can go into the bass and change the bass notes over time. So down, 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 down. So let's pull the D notes down to A sharp, and then this. So now we're using E to A, which is 7 semitones distance. This is called a dominant to tonic resolution, and then the half step resolution here. What I might do is just use that as the ending. So let's do pattern 1 and then use that as the ending that way. Let's play it through. Let's see what happens if I turn up the swing. so that's what we got. Go check out DJ Ideas Player VST. I'll leave a link below. And EA Ski has some dope drums as well. All right, guys, subscribe if you're new. It's Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. Peace.